I want to explore the idea of who gets to paint in public and who doesn't, and why do we have these preconceived notions about what's okay and what isn't? Speaking for myself only, I think that we're afraid of being perceived. We're afraid of taking up space, and we're afraid of drawing attention to ourselves. You'll see me wearing a mask on a cord throughout this video because I'm just getting over COVID. And while I'm testing negative, I'm still subject to these random coughing bursts that come out of nowhere. And I like to cover up when that happens. But circling back to my original point about being perceived and taking up space, one thing I've kind of started to realize is that people don't care as much as I think they do. They really don't. They barely notice me at all. And one really good way of getting out of my head is meeting up with a friend to do a sketching and painting session together. In this case, I'm at Eataly, which is a restaurant food court kind of thing. Maybe you've heard of them. This one is downtown Toronto, where I live. Also, speaking for myself, I think originally I felt really shy to do this, but then it dawned on me that Toronto is not the most art fluent society. It's not as if anybody passing over my shoulder or people sitting at the other tables really know exactly what it is that I'm doing or can judge the caliber of my work through a quick glance. And when I made this realization, it really freed me up to just feel like I can do this at pretty much any cafe. There's a big urban sketching movement, and I haven't joined urban sketchers yet, but I wouldn't be shy to do that. You probably even draw more attention to yourself because you're usually sketching and drawing in a group, and I'm okay with that now. Now, even with all of that said, I do have a couple tips that have helped me overcome my reticence and my shyness to make art in public. First of all, I just want to say I think everybody should feel emboldened to make art in public. Children do it and they don't care at all who looks and who doesn't look. They're not shy. And if we can get all back to that feeling, I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? So, I mean, it's impossible to revert literally to childhood, but here are a few things that help me. And by the way, if you're liking this video, if you could help out my tiny baby channel by giving me a like and even consider subscribing, that really will help me a lot. Thank you. So, my friend Jen and I are not really making any huge attempt to be super discreet. We've definitely taken up our side of the table and have put our watercolor paints around. She uses the Koi brand, I believe, in this video, and I'm using Roman Schmal mixed with a little Winsor and Newton. I've also got a separate palette of little half pans that I've got in an Altoids container, and some brushes and pens are everywhere. And we're not feeling shy at all to take up space. And why not? We're paying customers. But if I were alone or I wanted to be a bit more low key, I would probably only just take out the things that I needed a little bit at a time. If you're looking down at a notebook and you have just a pen in your hand, no one's going to really look twice unless they're really gawking over at your table, especially at this set of tables at Italy. They're quite well spread out, so it's not a super cozy environment. There's quite a bit of space to spread out, so that's nice. But if I wanted to be a bit more on the down low, I would just take out one writing supply at a time. This is not news to anybody, of course, but a sketchbook also is very discreet if you're feeling shy. Personally, it's not really that I'm shy, it's just this is what I had to hand. I'm using a Talon's Art Creation mixed media sketchbook, and the downside of this one, obviously, is that I am painting with a bit of watercolor, but it doesn't dry that quickly because it's multimedia paper, it's not specifically watercolor paper. I just use also the smallest cup of rinse water that I can get away with. And some people just even use the pens with the water in them. I haven't purchased anything like that so far because I don't go out that often to paint, especially being that it is the winter time. But once summer comes around, I'm hoping to spend more time outdoors. So I'll definitely invest in one of those. And if you can tell me if you use them, what the best brand to get is, that would really help me out because I really don't want to test a whole bunch of them because I'm not really going to return them. So I'd like to get it right the first time. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I've been very bereft of inspiration lately. So when I'm in that kind of a mood, I just paint literally the thing in front of me. And in this case, this was my cappuccino cup and saucer from Italy. And what I've been liking to do in my journal practice is to paint something on one side of the double page spread here. So I'll just paint whatever it is that inspires me. And on the other opposing side, I'll do a little bit of writing to capture my thoughts or whatever's going on that day. And then I usually paint a little flower, which I think you'll get a glimpse of at the end of this video. I like to practice painting one flower every single day. So that's my approach to my sketchbook. If you're really shy, find a friend you can do this with. And you know what? You both don't have to be sketching and painting. One of you can just be reading. Sometimes it's just finding that moment to be out together. And I think that that will embolden you. Now, the fun thing for my friend Jen and I is that we can check out not only what each other is doing, which is fun, but also I got to dip into her paints and check out her version of this sort of brownie black color that was fun for me to use. And the funny thing about this painting session is that we both decided to paint mugs, basically, even though we hadn't at all planned that. We just sat down to paint whatever popped into either of our heads. It just happened to be kind of the same thing, although they don't look anything the same. They were both based on things that we were seeing while sat here at Eataly. And after this really fun painting session, we sat down to lunch at one of the restaurants there. What a great day out. I hope that this encourages you to pack up your supplies and go paint outside. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.